of which, now granted, we had some of those were individual sales, and they were providing 30% or 30% of their sales back to the club. The club netted $2,602, approximately 2 months rent at this location. So very worthwhile event, very good exposure. We talked to a lot of the community, may end up with a few new members. So I just want to thank everybody that volunteered time setting up, demonstrating, selling, breaking down. Everything went smooth this year. It was hot, but there was no rain. So we were big thanks on that. We did meet several potential future club members during the event. And if you go to the next slide, I got a few pictures that I took while I was there. You see on this one, Ed's very excited on this end here. I was positive, and I think we all were sure that Sean McMahon was smiling down on us when we were out there because everything went so smooth. So that's our Irish festival. Ed, did you have anything you wanted to add? Yeah, it was, and thank you for while I thought we were kind of slow getting everybody signed up on the sign up genius board, ultimately we had every position, every segment filled, and I think we even had some extra people every now and then. So member participation was great. Okay, moving on. The board has decided to sell a few shop items to free up some room and to get prepped for a pending move. So you may see some emails. You might have already seen some emails of a couple of items that are out there, and you may see some more. Keep your eyes out for the emails, and it might be just what you're looking for. So talk to any of the board members if you're interested in pursuing any of those items that are sent out. Contact Kevin. He can get you lined up too. Let's see. In regards to our t-shirts, our t-shirt sales went really well, and wanted to thank Mike Erickson for coordinating that. A lot of us ended up with t-shirts. I think we do have one small size t-shirt if anybody's interested that they could pick up for $25. But other than that, everything it was distributed and paid for. And I enjoyed showing people the 5 rules while I was at the Irish Fest. I just kept turning around going there. That's how we work. Let's see. Oh, last off on that is if you've got any ideas that can improve our club, please speak to a board member. We're always open to ideas, and we'll push it out in the next board meeting. Just want everybody to know that we do react to your comments. So let us know if you got any ideas. Help wanted. We're still back in needing a few additional shop openers. If you've got opportunity, you like to use open shop and you would be able to commit. I think there's Wednesdays and Thursdays open, as well as one of the Saturdays that I think David's been covering us on the second Saturday for the most part. Second, third, and fourth. David's our Saturday guy. So we do have that. Our club is also always looking for demonstrators. It's tough to find the people to come out there and demonstrate. So don't hesitate if you've never demonstrated before. At least you're in front of a nice group of friends here when you're demonstrating. So other than a few jokes and stuff, you're not going to feel bad about it, and it's really excellent for your experience to go through a demonstration. So if anybody has any ideas, or if they've got ideas that they'd like to see demonstrated, talk to Mike. He lines us up for that, and he's getting ready to get the docket started for next year. So any comments, let us know. Let's see. The board has received several donations of totes and tubs to date. We could use some more, but we're doing pretty good. We got about 12 of them back there so far. Thank you to anybody that's donated to date. We do appreciate that. But if you do have some that are just laying around the house and you're not using them, bring them in. We'll store them in the shop until we start getting ready to move. And that they're going to be really helpful when we start packing up things to move them to another building. Open shop. Everybody should know that the Powermatic lathe tailstock has been repaired. So both of our Powermatics are back to full function now. Want everybody that uses the open shop to please report any equipment concerns to the shop or in the shop to the board or to me, and I'll take it to the board. And lastly, in regards to the open shop, just please help keep the shop clean and organized when you're in there. If you pulled it off the rack, put it back. If you've put the chips down on the floor, sweep them up. Upcoming activities, we're I think going to have a ball and cup hands-on class in late October that Mike Erickson's going to demonstrate. And you might not think that may be something that you would want to do, but I'll tell you that what the ball and cups were one of the more well-received items that were up there for sale at the Irish Festival. So you know, the kids do still enjoy that. And then in the first week, December 2nd and 3rd, I believe Anthony was the first week in December, and Anthony's going to hold another box turning class. It'll be a 2-day class on Saturday and Sunday, December 2nd and 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. And other than that, just keep your eyes out on the emails that Kevin shoots out on any regarding these classes and other opportunities that might be coming up. Coming up to our next demonstration in October, Don Frank is going to demonstrate how to use desiccant beads for quickly drying green wood. If any of you have ever turned green wood and cussed the fact that it changed shape on you while you were letting it dry, or it took forever to dry it and you didn't want to wait, I'm an impatient person. So this is going to be a way to maybe knock off weeks and possibly months on drying your wood. So it'll be interesting. It's something that I've never had or seen any discussion on, but recently Mike's been talking about it and getting me excited for it. I don't think we've got a set demo for November, but we're pretty sure it'll probably be a Christmas gift themed demonstration or something that you can turn and then potentially give as a gift for Christmas. And then December, we've obviously got our holiday party. So locating information, the best location to get information is the website, KCWoodturners.org. Other than that, keep your eyes out for the Wood Chips newsletter. It'll have information. It also always follows up with includes a lot of the announcements that are going on in the meeting. So if I talk too fast or bore you and you've left already, then you can get it back again at the Wood Chips newsletter. And the final way to get information is ask a board member or ask another member. Quite honestly, they'll lead you to somebody that can get you an answer. I think that gets me through our announcements. And now I'm going to turn it over to Phil so he can get into his safety minute and announcement he has.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, let's start with the safety minute. I'm going to try to make it a minute because we're running kind of late. So tonight we're going to talk about safety when spindle turning. Actually, Jim mentioned many of the things I was going to mention. So 3 things tonight. 1, ABC. Does everybody know what ABC is? That's ABC 1, 2, 3, Mike. Television network, yeah. Anchor, bevel, cut, and as Jim taught us tonight, dance. So you got to add a D to that. But if we just stick with anchor, bevel, cut, if you don't know what anchor, bevel, cut means, and this sounds confusing, ask someone who does, and they can help you with that. But it's a safe way to turn. Second thing, tighten your tailstock. So if you are spindle turning and you've got a spur drive in there and you've been turning for a little while, it might start to, your piece might come a little bit looser in there as the spur drive digs in. Just remember to give your tailstock a little turn every once in a while to make sure it's nice and tight in there. And then the third thing is adjust your tool rest to a proper height for the tool and cut you are using. And again, Jim mentioned that tonight as far as where does he want his tool rest when he's doing certain cuts. And if you have questions about that, if this is a foreign idea to you, since I don't have more than a minute right now, ask somebody what would be the appropriate height for a certain kind of cut or tool that you might be using. So for a bowl gouge, you might have it lower than you have for a spindle gouge, or for this, that, the other thing. Working safe and working smart and learning what the appropriate height of your tool rest is for the tool is important. Scene. And the other announcement that I have, is there a slide for that one, Rob? It's kind of short notice, but the very beginning of next month, October 6th through the 8th, I'm going to be teaching a 3-day spindle turning workshop at Eureka Springs School of the Arts, which is down in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Do you guys know where Bentonville is? It's home of Walmart. It's a little bit to the left. Well, depending on where you're standing. But it's not too far away from Bentonville. And it's a great little spot. They have, I think they've got 10 robust Scout lathes and a one-way there. It's a really great new facility. So if you're looking for a weekend away, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to be doing spindle turning for the home. So it is going to be more for introductory to the lathe if you're brand new, or if you are experienced and want to do just some honing of your skills and technique and tools. We should have a variety of projects and things to work on. I'm bringing a lot of wood, and we will fill those days as best as we can. So if anybody's interested, please let me know. Or the website essa-art.org is there for that class or any other classes, since they do have a full-time wood turning studio. They teach, I think, about 10 or 12 classes throughout the year. And so I've been down and have been to one, and I highly recommend them because they're close, and they get some good people in there. John Jordan had a class last year. Of course, John Jordan's not going to have one this year, but Matt Monaco and then a few other local people down there from Arkansas will be teaching over the next couple of months too. So that's all I've got. Oh, so I think we're going to lead into something next.
All right. I guess the first thing we need to do is draw for our dollar sweepstakes. And who's going to win the Darth Vader face mask this week?
Yes. Okay. Read us the last three.
516. Look at your numbers. All right. Bill Paulo. All right. Bill's got him a Darth Vader face mask. Yeah. Stay safe, Bill. All right, we're going to get right into and I apologize for running a little late tonight, but I thought you don't want to cut off somebody that you're paying to watch on TV. So we'll start with the challenge table. I'm going to, while we're getting the challenge table going, first person go ahead and pull it up and step up there. But I wanted to send this around. This tube is full of, it looks like about 7 tops that Bill brought in to show you. He turned all of these with a 5/8 inch skew, and there is one in there that is, I've seen bugs on my body bigger than that. So just pass that around, take interest. All right, here you go.
I dug this piece of wood. It's a kind of mahogany of some sort out of our stack in the back. I cut the inside of it with the grinder because I didn't have a drum for sanding. I did this on the disc. I cut it with a bandsaw, and we'll find out tomorrow morning if it works.
Great.
I cut a spatula out of black walnut. It was a scrap sitting on the shelf, just the right size. Tried using a skew for most of the cuts. Spent too much time swearing, especially on the bead, and so I switched to other tools. But and then I straightened and tapered it on the bandsaw and a sanding disc. So pretty straightforward. I'll try, but he kept skipping the swearing step, and I'll be doing that.
Okay, I started off making a spatula out of a piece of sycamore. I cut the curve on it using a bandsaw, clamped it to a 2x4, so it would, stay supported in the bandsaw. I would have cut the handle a little bit smaller. So I decided to go ahead and make a spoon. I saw how you could make one using taking one jaw out of the chuck and cut the inside of the spoon, turn it around and cock it, cut the end of the spoon, cock it to the side, cut the side, cock it to the other side, cut the side, and then sandal it. So that's my spoon.
Well, mine's sycamore from down the street after the storm. And I just turned it like he demonstrated on the spatula. So all I really turned was the handle, and then I used grinders and sanders and stuff to do this part of it. So can't wait to stir up a pot of chili with it one of these days.
Okay. I didn't get the jig made for the spoon part, but I made a spurtle. Actually, I made several spurtles. My daughter is a chef, and so I was asking Emily about what shape and everything. She said, fry pan, getting in and scooping all the, stuff out and everything. You can use this at a different angle so you can get in real narrow, or you can, use it broad and get in wide and get in deep. Anyway, I thought if you're like sauteing some chicken or some meat or something, you want to move it around. That's what the little pointy thing is for. So it's kind of a unique shape. Anyway, what I did was 1x4, just like probably everybody else. And this is a piece of pecan. That's what these are out of. And, I turned obviously this part here on the handles and everything, but for the thickness, over there's an 8-inch belt grinder or belt sander that you can make just 30 seconds on the sides and everything, get it nice and thin. And then to sharpen it, you're in, not very long, you got a nice spurtle. So anyway, if you're a guild member, it's back there in the corner, you'll know where it is. So that's it.
Well, I tried to remake what Neil Brand had, and I tried to not use his U-bolt. As you can see, the spoon blanks are screwed onto the block, the 2-inch by 3-inch by 6-inch block. The block, you can see the visible part, it has threaded inserts. So I can screw brass screws into the same place every time. And to start out with, I made a little template so I can drill the holes and make a design to show the bowl end. Be the same every time. So it worked pretty good, except I didn't follow my main directions. I cut out the concave part way too much. I went off the end of the board. So I had to change things. So this is the spoon that my first try. The next spoon will be a lot better, but you can see I have a lot that I cut on the convex part of the spoon. It worked out pretty good, but because I cut so much out right here, I couldn't make a round handle. So I just made a rectangular handle, and I haven't really sanded it very much, but I think it's going to be a satisfactory spoon on my next try. So that's what I did. I think Neil Brand would be happy that there's a non-steel U-bolt way to make a spoon. Thank you.
I had the, are we on? That, hold it up close. Okay, that's good. We had the advantage of having a conversation with Kevin. And so I thought they would go down the same road as he did. And I did. And the first attempt was a total failure. And then I said, step back a minute and look at the plan you're working on. And I couldn't stand the U-bolts in the demo, and I didn't make a big deal on, it's not polite to be nasty to folks that are giving you instructions, and he had good instructions. So, but my brother got his arm broken on a tractor with U-bolts on it while I was driving the tractor. So I'm a little sensitized. And so the solution to this is essentially to widen out your block a little bit, put in stud bolts like Kevin did, and effectively they'll go back to the design we had in the demo with a clamping bar. Now, there's another advantage for using a clamping bar as opposed to the first holes I drilled and fit with a fixed location, in that if you want to really get precise about where your rotation is, you can move the board in and out a little bit, up and back, and use your tool rests to see what is the radius of rotation. And so you get some finer structure. Once you've drilled holes, it's stuck. And so the other thing is sanding is a fun thing to do. And I did this just this morning, so it didn't get a lot of attention. But I did find that you can put a flat top on the spoon so that when you're holding it, you know what the pitch of the screw is. And you get that by basically having that rotation in that it was in the movie, if you saw that fits this either 3/4 inches off or a dead center. Well, if you have it positioned just right, you can, your center line actually goes through at or above the point of rotation. So you're not actually ever going to cut anything off the top. And that way it leaves you a flat rounded handle with a flat top. So anyway, I was really happy with the whole design aspect as it all washed out. The only thing I would really have rather had is that sanding, buffing metal piece that he put down the center of the piece that rotates and holds this. And this is a 3-inch faceplate that's been cut off to 2 inches. And then it has 4 screws that are about that long that go way down in the body. And then a little bit of epoxy on the easy outs, these threaded inserts, kind of make sure that they don't stick. And I turned up the lathe and stood off to the side and said, wonder if it's going to stay together. And it worked out fine. So this has been tested at least on my lathe.
I have a maple spatula, but I definitely need to come and use a machine that Mike used because it's way too thick. So we'll keep working on it.
Okay. And the winner is 416. Okay. Oh, we got a plastic insert as well as an actual blade up there for number 416. Don't show. Oh, geez. And girl. No, I'm not. Still follow. Yeah, you already want to face that. somebody have bills? 410. 410. All right. Come up with that. All right. See what you can do with that insert and that bulb line. If you can make that insert go into that bulb line. Yeah. Does somebody have Bill's tops? The little tube of tops? Top tube. Where's the top tube? That we had stood around. Here, I got it. All right. Tell me. Top tube. Top tube. All right. Let's get right into our show and tell table. Looks like we got some fun things up there, but we need to get through them as quick as possible. So if you've got something, go on up there and tell them about it.
Okay, I turned a rough turned a bow blank. This was roadside rescue wood. And so I roughed this out in 2019. So this month I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish that thing. So I really like the wood. I'm not sure what kind it is, but and then I learned that at SWAT this year there were a lot of these going around, and what it is, it's a small stool inside of a pillbox, and it's a stool sample. So always fun. I bet the doctors will love it. And then I had a piece of root ball that I made with, it's got black resin. Actually, I poured it with black and purple. The only way you can see the purple is if you shine a light, like a flashlight onto it, it shines up. But otherwise, it just looks all black.
Last week, I had a guy save a oak crotch for me that was 4 feet wide and 3.5 feet thick and 6 feet long. And it just about killed me trying to take it up into bits. But so I tried to save my first feather, and I don't think I got the feather, but somebody who knows better will have to be the judge of that. But it is very striking, the change in grain between the two halves of which one was the trunk and which one was the branch. I don't know. But you can see the medullary rays in half of it, and the other half just turns into a beautiful swirl. And that notch at the top was where the bark was, where the limbs actually went apart. And then there is a hole in it that it's been decided is a guinea pig. And that piece was rotten. So I just poked it out with a screwdriver. But yeah, no, it's a punch bowl fail. So thank you. Oh, I turned it green, my first green bowl. So.
That's right. This is my feather. This is a twin to the other one last month. This is the other side of it. So like the other side is right there. I actually used, I don't know if it's resin or not. I used epoxy. I dyed it black to fill in some of the spots. Most of these are full of bark. These 5 little white thingies here are toothpicks. It had some ring shake, and so I drilled some holes and put toothpicks in with epoxy.
So I needed to get some test pieces together for my class next month. So I needed to make some vases. So these are little bud vases. This one you can fit a little cylinder into for water. These ones are too small, but I just wanted to do a couple different shapes. I've got a few more that I did the other day. I haven't even finished the bottoms on these yet, but they were just fun projects that I'm working through so that I'm ready for my class next month. So there you go.
So most of my turnings right now are because family members have asked for things. So this is a little ring bowl my nephew is getting married and wanted for his future wife. And then I've got a baby rattle that my daughter has a friend that's having a baby. So she needed a baby rattle. So she asked for a baby rattle. So it rattles. And then my sister needed a sphere. I had never turned a sphere before. So this was my first one. And you can feel unevenness. So it's not a perfect sphere, but I didn't have any way to do a jig. So I just turned it between centers and then turned it 90 degrees and turned it between centers again. So you can actually see where the single points were. And then I did it a second time after this one because this one was my first one. I wanted to see if I could improve on it. So I did a second one and then took them to her and asked her which one she wanted. But she refurbished a carousel horse and the ball on top was broke. So she needed a new ball. So now I'm going to drill a hole in it so it can fit on top of her carousel horse. Perfect. Perfect.
Well, I think that, David, sorry, jump the gun.
Be real quick about this one so you go home. This is the standard, you might say, a maple burl that's commonly more seen, and it has a epoxy finish on it with a little bit of blue filling for the eyes that are in the burls. And this one is the black maple burl that I've been working on with the blue epoxy filled in. The other interesting thing about doing both of these are turned with a vacuum chuck. And the interesting thing with the vacuum chuck is that it's great. You can work on the front and make a nice round surface and so forth and be perfectly happy with it. But there comes a time when you have to turn it over. And that's when the fun starts is, can you get it exactly concentric and aligned and not rotating like this? Well, it takes a little bit of finessing, but yeah, you can do it. And so, I think it turned out all right. And I made another object, which is a hollow form. It's about 8 inches by 4. And on that one, I colored the epoxy and essentially used penetrating resin to completely saturate the whole turned object after it had been hollowed. And the point there was to get the resin to go into those nooks and crannies that no matter how good a job you do of sanding and finishing on a burl, you've got places that are not flush to the surface. And so then I sanded that all off just to the wood, not deep, because epoxy will bond to any surface epoxy that you have. So you really don't want to get a whole lot of wood showing when you do that. And that turned out just really, really nice. It all the little places just jumped out. So I'm real happy with how that worked. Sometime maybe I'll get it in for the next one. Yeah.
That's the last piece. I don't think I've ever seen David with something so small, but it's beautiful, just like all your other stuff. So thanks for sharing, David. Okay. I'm not cutting anybody else off. Do we have anybody on Zoom that has any items, Kevin? Okay. Well, let's call this a night, and thank you all for coming. If you can help us get some chairs put away and get some equipment back out, we'd appreciate it. But Elizabeth, you and Calvin need to get home. You need to get home. Thank you.